Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. Another NFL draft is in the books. The Eagles select linebacker and South Jersey native Jihaad Campbell in the first round. The Birds opt not to select a tight end. Could Dallas Goedert be back to start the season? The Phillies eke out a strange win to open the series against the Nationals after taking 2 of 3 from the Cubs. The bullpen continues to struggle while the offense still hasn't quite kicked it into high gear. Are better days ahead for the Phils, or has the team taken a step back from last season? The Flyers await the results of the draft lottery on Monday. Danny Briere says the team is looking to start adding this offseason. Rick Tocchet is officially done in Vancouver. Is the former Flyer destined to take over behind the bench? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. Beautiful weather is upon us. Feeling pretty good, all refreshed. Actually just came back from a wedding in Lancaster last weekend, which was really nice. So,
Did you go to the Fuddruckers?
Did not go to the Fuddruckers, no.
Yeah,
but
Lancaster's all right.
had a good time there, we'll say.
I've heard. I haven't been to Lancaster since I was a kid, but I've heard it's really nice little town. It's like a mini. People describe it as like kind of like a mini Philly.
Yeah,
you know?
real tour. I mean, it's very touristy. People are trying to it's a very historical city.
Yeah.
And also like people going out there to see like Amish country and shit like that. So definitely pretty poppin' with like buses and a lot of school kids and things like that.
Yeah, there's a few colleges out there.
You got like the little market, so all the stuff can go do their thing. But it was good. My cousin Erin married the love of her life, Michele, so that was good to see them seal the deal. And then we had a little party, and it was a good time. But yeah, other than that, can't complain.
Yeah, Lancaster's a fun place, right? Because the previous band I was in, shout out to the X-Hunters, we recorded at a studio in Lancaster back in 2013. Was our first time recording there. Now I'm thinking, like, I hadn't been to Lancaster since I'm a kid, so I'm thinking, yeah, this is about to be all Amish country.
And some barn.
Yeah, and all this, that, and the other thing. So we're driving there.
You walk into the recording studio and it's just like an Amish guy behind the ones and twos. Like,
that would be
chewing on a piece of straw. You're like, all right.
Amish people aren't supposed to touch equipment like that. Yeah, that'd be a violation.
What do they call that? Rumspringer or whatever?
Yeah. They were getting bucked.
Whatever.
Ibrahim's out here like, yeah, I got you guys.
Go ahead with your story.
Nah, but yeah, it was just, we were driving out there and we're driving, I think on Route 30. You know, the White Horse Pike. Mm-hmm. It goes Route 30, it goes from one side of the country to the other. We're in the boonies and it just smells like straight cow manure.
Oh, yeah.
It stinks. Yeah. We stayed at some like motel on the side of the road. The whole motel, the whole room smelled like just cow poop.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the studio and I'm like, holy shit, we're in an actual like downtown city, and the studio was like real high tech and cool. So we recorded the same studio next year, and I took the back roads to get there. I was driving by horse and buggies, driving through the straight up Amish country. It was wild. But then we finished recording. I went to Boston Market. Boston Market was all right.
I mean, out there for sure.
Beaumont was decent.
Farm to table.
That's a way of life out there. It's nice because it's kind of like old city everywhere in the city. Like there's kind of just brick.
Yeah.
All the buildings are like there's no new skyscrapers or like kind of like stupid looking apartment buildings that are all just gray and windowy.
I was just there last summer.
Mm-hmm. It's a great little town. Great food. Their bars are popping off now. Good art scene, but we had a good time out there. It's a nice weekend. The downside is though, it does smell like cow shit everywhere. Like even the bougie hotel we stayed at still. Yeah. I felt bad. I'm like, thank God they didn't do pictures here because like no matter where you are taking pictures, it's good. It just smells like straight up shit.
You went to did you go to the one market that's indoors?
We went to that in the city.
Yeah.
We went there. Yeah. There was like that's what I'm saying. Like they had a big ass school field trip there, I guess. And there was like 50 little like munchkins out there running around. And shout out to those teachers because I don't know how they held it down, but they did a good job. They get all the kids like big ass sticky buns at the end and all this shit. It was funny, but
yeah, that market's dope.
Mm-hmm.
I got like these giant cookies last time, some pretzels, some teas, some herbs.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, Lancaster is a decent city. I dare say probably third best city in the state of Pennsylvania. Philly, obviously, number one. I think Pittsburgh probably better than Lancaster.
It beats Erie, that's for sure. Although Erie's not really a
Erie's butt,
I guess it could be. Yeah, that was ass.
Yeah, Harrisburg.
The home of the zone, though.
Yeah, the zone rocks. The zone. I wish Philly had a zone.
Yeah, the zone was a special place. What a special time.
That shit was awesome.
Shout out Lewis and Hannah. Stop by Mug Coffee and Clay. If you have not yet on 8th and Federal, get you some great coffee.
Our first unofficial sponsor of the pod.
Our first sponsor, Mug Coffee and Clay. But anyway, what else is going on? Yeah, we had the week off. What'd you do with the week off? You went to a wedding?
That's where I was at, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. You guys had the Flavors of the Ave last weekend as well?
Yeah, on
No.
Sunday.
No Lucky Charm out there?
No,
Yeah,
no
nothing
little
really
man.
eventful. Just, hanging
Yeah.
out.
Still good to be
Nice
out there,
day.
though. Good to see everybody out. All the vendors out there kind of shaking off the old rust of everything, getting ready for the season of Pass Young popping off. But it's nice whenever we can get out there, enjoy the day, hang out with everybody, have a good time.
Yeah, I didn't get to kiss Jacob on the lips,
Oh.
but that's okay. Shout out to Jacob, rest in peace.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun time. No little man. The Sixers were not losing to the Knicks
No.
in Game 4 of the playoffs,
That was
so
nice.
we stopped at Lucky. The vibes were good. It was a good day.
Stress-free day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dare say watching NBA playoff basketball, so stress-free this year, man. The only thing I'm stressed about is my bets. Like, I'm not stressed out about anything else.
No, not your mental stability on the outcome of the
I
game.
haven't really watched any of the NBA.
Oh, it's been good. The playoffs have been good this year.
That
I started watching a little of the NHL playoffs. They've been good.
Mr. Halliburton, how about that shit?
Yeah,
with Giannis?
getting in Giannis's
Oh,
face.
yeah,
that was weird.
Yeah, Giannis had this whole quote. I kind of sided with Giannis.
Yeah, I did.
Giannis had like this
Yeah.
3-minute quote during a press conference saying how he's always humble and how his dad taught him to be humble because his dad was like hustling money, like hustling for money. And I don't know. Giannis had this like long quote, but at the end of the day, like Mr. Halliburton, you got to have a little more class than that, dude.
He was like, I'll keep it to myself. I don't need to air anybody else's stuff out here. But like that was just a little inappropriate. And honestly, Halliburton himself was like, yeah, I got to talk to my dad. Like that was just not.
Yeah.
That was not cool. Like what the it's just kind of embarrassing at that point. But
Yeah, even
yeah, the playoffs, at least they have a little oomph in them, It's kind of nice to see a little shit. But that's like one of the parts of not stressing about the Sixers, that you can see the other things that are happening in the NBA and
Yeah.
not like worry about, oh, well, they advanced and now we have to play them. Like you just enjoy the series, kind of like look at the drama a little bit differently and not have to be all.
Yeah. What's the most interesting series going on, do you guys think?
Clippers Nuggets.
Yeah, they've been close games.
Yeah, other than the game last night, I'd stopped watching in the third quarter. But yeah, the one game, that crazy tip-in dunk,
Yeah.
like at the
Right
buzzer.
at the buzzer, yeah.
That was bonkers, dude.
Yep.
It was, had he let go of the ball like a 100th of a second later, no basket.
Yep.
That was insane, man. But yeah, that's been a great series. Knicks Pistons has been good. Even though the Knicks are up 3-2, all those games have been close. Mm-hmm. I'll give it to you. Toby's kind of been hooping. B-Ball Paul's had his moments.
Yeah.
He's on the Pistons. He's had a couple moments. It's kind of crazy watching all these ex-Sixers in the playoffs. Ben Simmons is on the Clippers.
I know.
Yeah.
He airballed a hook shot last night.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
And the thing is, the refs called, like, they've reset the shot clock because they thought it hit rim. Because who misses the rim from 5 feet away? Ben Simmons.
Our boy.
You can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in there.
5 feet. He can miss it from 3 feet,
yeah.
2 feet, 1 foot. Yeah.
That's why he didn't take it against Trae Young. But yeah, Toby, Ben Simmons, James Harden, obviously, he's been hooping. Who
Is
else?
McConnell still on the Pacers?
Yeah, McConnell.
Yeah.
McConnell was hooping game 5 against the Bucks, games 4. Even Grant Hill called it. He was like, TJ McConnell's dominating this game. And he was, dude. Yeah. It was wild. Who else? There's a few other ex-Sixers.
Buddy had a great game the other day.
Yeah, Buddy Hields in the playoffs.
Butler has been killing it too. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be crazy if these guys were
all our old friends.
Dude, imagine if we had a team of all these guys. We
Yeah.
might actually be good.
insane. But yeah,
Imagine.
Are the Warriors out yet? Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm into them. I like their little.
I think they could win that series tonight, I think.
They're playing Houston.
No, they can't win that series tonight.
They're down, I think, a
No,
game
they're
still.
winning the series.
Oh, they are? All right.
think.
Who did they play? Houston?
They're up 3-1, yeah.
Yeah.
Houston's kind of buddy, even though they're a 2 seed.
That is wild when I keep seeing that they're actually the 2 seed. I'm like, damn, all right.
No, they're like so young and
Mm-hmm.
undisciplined. But who else? Oh, the Lakers. The Lakers are going down, dude.
That's a weird series right there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're down 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards dropped 43. Anthony Edwards is the man, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I like seeing LeBron go deep in the playoffs, I don't think I can stomach JJ Redick winning a championship his first year as a coach.
No.
I don't think
gonna-
I could live with that.
Having his whole starting 5 though play a whole
Yeah,
half.
he didn't bench them the entire half.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You got like I don't know. I mean, I understand the thought process, I guess, but like that is brutal to do. At least they had a lot of days off, so I guess he figures, we could beat the brakes off of them. They don't play again until what, Friday? Saturday, maybe?
Tonight. They play tonight.
Okay, tonight. So, they had a couple days off.
They had 2 days off, but yeah, even
that's
still.
a lot.
Yeah, 40-year-old LeBron, man. Like, I understand he's in peak physical condition, but playing 44 minutes, not resting the entire second half, I don't care who you are. That's going to take its toll. So, yeah, I think they're cooked, which kind of sucks. Like, again, I think when we were talking about the NBA playoffs a couple weeks ago, I said I wanted to see the Lakers advance, just to see LeBron advance. I wanted to see the Warriors advance. Could you imagine a Steph, LeBron, Western Conference
Finals.
semis or Western Conference finals? But we won't get to see it.
Yeah.
I guess what we will get to see, though, is our boy Jihaad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jihaad Campbell.
Yeah, Jihaad Campbell.
Got an Irish linebacker.
Dude, that's so cool that he's from here, from South Jersey.
Gloucester Township.
Yeah.
Right over the bridge.
Yeah, that's dope. His dream come true.
Great pick. I mean, arguably, if not the best top 3 linebacker in the draft, which is great to see. I mean, he kind of fell right into our lap, which is good. We kind of touched on that, though, last week, where, there was no, this draft could have gone 10 different ways because we don't have a huge, glaring need. We have some gaps we got to fill with the departures of a lot of the guys on the D-line through retirement and just trades and just leaving the team, but I felt comfortable with whatever they were going to decide to do, whether that was an O lineman, D lineman, linebacker, whatever. Maybe running back would have been odd, but how he is over his brain dead moment. But I'm happy with the pick. An Alabama linebacker, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I think it's funny how full circle this team has come from devaluing the linebacker position to, giving Zach Bond all this money to using our first round pick on a linebacker.
Yeah. But, it's good to see that the philosophy keeps evolving. They're not static. They're not just doing it one way. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I like to see that.
They very heavy defensive pick draft. First 3 picks were all defense, if not first 4.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. I like the safety from Texas with the second pick.
Yeah.
Makuba.
I think Jihaad Campbell. I think Jihaad Campbell. I'm over here like fucking Sean McDermott over here, but I think Jihaad Campbell probably has the most starter, day one could be starter right now. Be good to go in Vic Fangio's defense.
Yeah, especially if you consider Nakobe Dean might not quite. I mean, he's still recovering from that injury. I don't know if he's going to be ready to start the season or not. So that gives you some insurance there for sure.
And could use him on the edge potentially. I think Makuba, right?
Yeah, that's what you say.
I think he has the most potential, but also a risky pick, right? I feel like he could probably be a very good player.
Yeah.
And the comparisons to CJGJ is okay, right? He plays his hair's on fire.
Yeah.
However, that comes at a cost sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching some I don't know, some people analyzing his tape and stuff, and it seems like if it were not for his size, he'd probably go higher. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those guys, very smart player, understands coverages, good in the run game, kind of in that C.J. Gardner-Johnson style, can run up and crush a guy in the run,
like a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Sometimes they don't always land when they're he might have the right intentions in mind. But I think that kind of player, having Vic Fangio play with, coach up CJGJ probably helps Makuba's development this year, which should be good. But very young defense we have right now. We were young last year.
Yeah.
We kind of got younger now because you lose Brandon Graham, which, the average age that way kind of killed it. Sweat was also kind of a savvy vet on the team, but I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, that just makes me feel good about all these defensive picks is that that part of the decision was that, Fangio likes this guy. Mm-hmm. They're not picking anyone unless he gets his seal of approval, and knowing that he's going to be around for, however long, it just kind of gives you that reassurance that they're not just kind of throwing darts at, we think this guy might be all right. A guy who won us a Super Bowl and really knows what he's doing is giving them the stamp of approval.
I forget who someone said. Upside was... Honestly, maybe CJGJ was the upside.
That sounds right. It's a similar play style.
And downside, his ceiling would have been that, and his floor was around a Devontae Maddox guy, play the nickel, could be useful in the run game, maybe tight end defense here and there, playing slot and shit like that, covering the slot player, which isn't terrible. If he's healthy, I don't mind a healthy Avonte Maddox in his prime, but that was his always downfall is that, you'd have 6 good months or 3 good months of Avonte Maddox and then he'd be gone for the rest of the year. So I'm into that.
Well, yeah, that's why they drafted the new Avonte Maddox. What's my man's name? The cornerback from Florida, I think.
McCullum or
Mac McWilliams.
Yeah,
That's a name, yo.
Mac McWilliams.
He apparently profiles as like very similar to Avonte Maddox. Yeah. So that's kind of what his role is. I'll be honest, I'm kind of just meh on a lot of this draft, but it's kind of the cost of being the Super Bowl champion.
And I think this draft was not filled. This draft, I think, was a pretty like low talent, not low talent, but it didn't have a lot of like showstoppers, right? Like there was no Jalen Carter pick. There was no, once you got outside the top 10, even that was kind of like nothing really was. No sexy picks out there. No one jumped up to make a game-breaking move, right? Like some guys made some moves in the draft, but like there was no.
Well, the Giants made that big old trade to get Jackson Dart.
I mean,
looks like it could be a slightly worse version of Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah, what?
Yeah,
Did you see that? When he was on like John Gruden's show.
Oh
no!
So
it was
bad.
so funny. Gruden was just grilling him.
Really?
He was roasting his ass.
He was like, all right, what's your count? And he's just like, that's it. That's what you do. He's like, yeah. He's like, do you ever change it up or do it? He's like, sometimes I do like.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That's horrible.
Gruden looked at the camera, and was like,
and I guess the other thing with that dude is like he just like does not run out of bounds ever, and just gets clobbered, and it's like, dude, you're gonna get killed. And you just keep doing.
I mean,
that. Like,
it's a mirror image of like Eli that way, where like that dude took. I will say he did take hits. Speaking of taking big hits too, he knows.
Eli got better at that though.
Jackson Dart is a good quarterback name. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
If they're just going off a cool name factor,
yeah,
that's throwing darts that just writes itself.
and he knows Campbell real well too because he popped his fucking helmet off with a big hit.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Well, he better be
Blew his
ready
own head
for
off.
that 2-3 times a year, 2 times a year. They ain't making the
I
playoffs.
stand corrected too. Our first 5 picks were defensive.
Yeah.
I like that.
Ty Robinson.
I'm not gonna lie. Despite his age, he's a little bit older for a
He's
draft
25,
pick. But
24.
like, the dude's kind of a beast. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, he's huge.
Yeah, he's a big man. He can play edge. He can play tackle. He played fullback or something on the offensive side of the ball too for a hot second. Has a connection with Cam Jurgens,
they both went to Nebraska.
Yeah, and like
That's
big fan. So I'm into that. Smart player. I think he wants to be a doctor or something like that once he retires.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, but
I saw you for like pre-med or something.
Yeah.
So
He's the one that has a pet camel.
what?
That's him. I'm pretty sure he has a camel.
A camel
really?
Yeah, he has a pet camel.
in Nebraska?
Apparently.
I guess you could have one of those in Nebraska.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be a weird
could
sight
have
to
one,
see.
You could have one there a lot easier. You can have one in Philly. So I don't know what he's going to do with his pet camel, but
I guess.
I'm
yeah.
pretty. Someone we drafted has a pet camel. I'm pretty sure it's him.
I don't not believe it, but yeah, I didn't know who he like. Like Shaq says, I apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game. I didn't really know who, like the pick I saw come in. I was like, all right, Nebraska D lineman. I saw his measurements. I'm like, all right, looks like a pretty good pick.
Ty Robinson has a pet camel.
Yep.
But I'm into it. He had some
took
good
him
highlights.
to help his former neighbor.
To help? What the fuck?
So his
Help
neighbor
him
had
with-
a camel and he adopted the camel.
I don't know.
How the fuck? What kind of neighbor? Help? Hey, can you help
It's
me out real
Nebraska,
quick?
man. You don't know what the hell people are doing out there.
But yeah, I like that pick a lot. And besides the top 3, kind of plug and play. You know what I mean?
I saw a picture of him with his camel.
God, that's a big ass
Yeah,
camel.
that's large.
Yeah.
They're big.
And he's a big man. He's like 6'4", 290.
You know they eat cactuses like that? Camels?
I'm not surprised. They live in the desert. Look what else grows there.
Like needles and all?
Kind of got to adapt or die,
I like the offensive tackle picks, though, I will say.
Yeah, who do we got?
We got the Michigan
Miles
one.
Hinton. Mm-hmm. Cameron Williams. Cameron Williams is supposed to. He has a lot of upside.
You know who my favorite one, though, is? The Rutgers cat. We got that tackle from Rutgers. He went undrafted. He was an undrafted.
I didn't
rookie
see the
free agent.
undrafted picks.
Yeah,
or the undrafted guys.
I did a couple mock drafts and was picking him with like the last pick of the draft just to like grab him because I thought he was interested. But he fits the size. I feel like similar to your point, Trevor, where like, they did their due diligence with asking Vic Fangio, who do you want to fill these gaps since we gutted the team with crucial players, right? I think that as long as the offensive line and Stoughton are like, I don't care where they went, I just want this height player, this size player, a couple attributes this way, he can
that's
he can make that player
Mm-hmm.
a solid fill-in. And I think a lot of those offensive tackles could move to guard or whatnot to fill in the you had that Mekhi Becton kind of crazy test to see how that worked out last year, and it worked out great. Tyler Steen could do that still, but I think a lot of these guys fit that same mold because Lane Johnson picked up his deal and is going to be here for like 3 more years, so he needs to have a big help next to him.
Yeah, I mean, I also look at it as Lane insurance, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, Lane has been healthy the past couple of years, but as you get older, those injuries start to set in a little bit more. I mean, you never know. He could make a decision at some point to retire while he's still under contract. So, yeah, the tackles, it's a good swing tackle right now. Maybe you're a right guard right now, but they're also your right tackle of the future type thing, depending on how they develop. I also look at Jihaad Campbell as kind of the same thing, but for Vaughn.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of the same characteristics. Vaughn, linebacker that can rush the passer, that's versatile, that can drop back in coverage, do all sorts of things. Jihaad Campbell does a lot of that. Vaughn is 28, I think. Signed for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, he should age well. He doesn't have a whole lot of mileage. He's been largely a special teams player. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like in the NFL, 28, you get pretty old quickly from there. And Campbell kind of can step in and assume some of that later on. So I think, right now they're drafting obviously for upside, but also recognizing, like we need to have insurance for some of these guys as they get older. The Makuba pick, to me, I'm kind of concerned about his size, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they say, he plays bigger than his size. That's great in college when dudes are generally not that big, but when you're in the NFL and you're playing against, a DK Metcalf, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like the tackling is going to be the issue.
Right, you have Josh Jacobs running at you. Like, it's going to be a little harder. So
even a CD Lamb, I mean, the division alone, you know, Malik Neighbors and CD Lamb and all those guys, they're not necessarily, the smallest guy. Like Devontae Smith, him in practice is easy to go against him, but like even go up against AJ Brown in practice, that's going to be tricky right there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I can understand why they picked him. He has ball hawk skills, which they kind of miss right now once you lose CJ Reed gives you some of that. But I mean, CJ 7 picks his first season with us, 5 or 6 last year, including a pick.
And they're all dynamic style picks. I mean, Ed Reed Blankenship, all his picks, look at his film.
They're all the same.
90% of them are all going to be a diving, undercut kind of pick. They're not going to be fall on your back or, kind of cool show-stopping picks that way. But, I mean, I liked it. I liked that they all came from big-name schools. It wasn't like we were making a stretch once we got, Campbell in the draft. But I like the move. You went up 1 pick. You didn't go crazy. You didn't have to, jump up too far and give too much out. I think this was a safe draft, all things considered. No tight end, which I think turned some heads. But you could also kind of say that maybe the way that they acquired 2 or 3 tight ends before the draft kind of made you seem that they didn't really need to pick a tight end.
Yeah, I mean,
unless their guy fell to them at a certain spot, they weren't going to reach for a tight end this year.
Yeah, and I think just the way the board fell and the fact that, you're drafting at the end of every round, it kind of makes it hard to hope and wait for your guy to come. You almost have to reach, right? Mm-hmm. You're picking early, and then you question the value you got with the pick. You question whether it'll actually pan out. So, I don't mind that they didn't pick a tight end. Yeah. I think it more and more points to them working something out with Goddard. At the very least, it points to him being here at least to start the season.
Definitely.
We'll see what happens. Here's the thing. The Eagles 2025 draft picks, college football 25 ratings. You seen this? Mm-mm. So I'll go through each one of them. Jihaad Campbell, a 90 overall. That's good.
And what do you say?
What is this?
The college football 25.
The game?
The video game?
Yeah, the video game. I'm sorry, I should be more specific. But Jihaad Campbell, a 90 overall. Andrew Makuba, 87. Ty Robinson, an 83.
All right.
Mac McWilliams, an 82. Smile Munden Jr., the linebacker from Georgia, 89.
Okay.
Drew Kendall, the center, 84. Colin McCord, local kid from Mount Laurel,
the quarterback,
87.
I mean, he led the college in passing yards.
Nice.
Yeah.
Miles Hinton, the tackle from Michigan, 83. Cameron Williams wasn't in the game. The disrespect.
Damn.
And then the edge we
Bullshit.
drafted in the
I
last
liked
game.
him from Virginia Tech.
Dude, he was a 91. Antoine Powell-Ryland.
22 and a half sacks
a
in the last 2
91
years.
overall.
Yeah.
He's this year's Moro Ajama.
He was good.
Yeah, he's going to ball out.
Look at some of his highlights too. He was ferocious on that edge at Virginia Tech. I mean, I like that. To have him be the last pick of your draft, honestly, was kind of a sleeper diamond in the rough pick right there.
I think it's another Moro Ajama, who
Yeah.
was also a 7th-round pick, right? Like, and the
Another
tackle,
Texas guy.
Miles Hinton, is a potential Jordan Mailata type, or Cameron Williams.
He was from Michigan.
Yeah.
I was surprised he fell that far, and it's funny because the running back for them too also fell further than I thought he would fall. Edwards, I think their running back was, because you look at that championship run, he was a big piece of that team. I think he stayed there for 1 more year, but yeah, I mean, again, they didn't do any crazy reaches. I think they got, like Howie said, they picked the best talent where it met them in the draft, and you stockpile, you still have a shit ton of picks next year. So for the draft being sort of superstar-less, I think they did a good job filling the voids that they needed to fill and just having extra pieces there to play with.
Yeah, they got a bunch of picks. Dude, so next year, because they kept trading back and gaining more picks, they have 12 projected picks as of now. A first, a second, 3 thirds, 2 fourths, 3 fifths, 4 fifths, and a 7th. That's nuts.
And I think that there's like 2 or 3 comp picks.
Yeah,
too,
that
they get
includes
thrown
the
in there.
comp picks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's 12 picks. So, I mean, they'll have other opportunities to make the team better. You can trade some of those picks, package it with, maybe it's Goddard. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
But you can package those picks with some vets.
Oh, yeah.
And you can make the team better other ways. Like Howie's always said, yeah, the roster isn't finalized after the draft.
I mean, there's still some good free agents out there, too, floating around that
Justin
no one's
Simmons.
picked up. Justin Simmons is out there. You got, not that we need another receiver, but Amari Cooper is out there. It's an intriguing pick. I mean, we don't need him, but I feel like he would be a solid. I feel like he would be.
Always liked Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and he's always had productive years no matter where you put him. You put him in the Browns, he did well. Put him in Buffalo, if they fucking threw to him, he would have done well. But the couple of games that they did target him, he had a great game. Like I've always liked him as well, and I think that he would have been. He's a guy that you could pick up that like KC wanted DeAndre Hopkins to be, or we wanted Julio Jones to be. Not in that same caliber of like extreme talent, but he's still reliable and a good size. Because once you get outside A.J. Brown, we got kind of small receivers out there. But
Johnny Wilson's a big dude.
Johnny Wilson. But
I mean,
he's
but not
gonna
really.
come around.
Yeah, he's got some
guy.
ups. He's still
I know
got
what
some
you
shit to
mean,
do.
but-
That's all.
Yeah, I don't think he can get there with Amari Cooper. No slight against him. It's just I feel like there are other holes that they should address
No, definitely.
that are more important than quarterback, or I'm sorry, than wide receiver. But I mean, we'll see. What else we got on the Eagles?
Well,
Oh yeah, I guess the elephant in the room.
which again,
We already
I think,
kind of talked about this.
well, I think we talked about it. I think that we all were like, whatever about the whole going to DC. The only kind of curveball that came out before that, though, was Barkley just hanging out with Trump. That was a little odd. I'm not gonna lie. That was like, okay.
Just boys being dudes.
Yeah, playing golf with him, riding the Air Force One.
Yeah. He might as well been in the little golf cart with the little pinwheel shit. Like, wee! It's just kind of odd. I mean, that took me by surprise, I think is,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
But I feel like also, like, it is, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean,
If he rushes for 2,000 yards again next year, like, fuck it and hang out, like,
No one's gonna
fucking
care.
do what you want to do, then I don't know.
Yeah, could I have done without
Yeah.
seeing him hanging around Trump? Sure. But, at the end of the day, still have the utmost respect for him as a player, for what he did for the team. Do I respect him maybe a little less as a person, for sure. But at the same time, it is what it is. We can't expect every professional athlete to have the same values and views as we do when it comes to politics in America. Let's face it, a lot of them aren't going to. A lot of them are rich millionaires.
Yeah.
Like, the people that Trump's looking out for aren't us. It's people like Saquon that are going to make hundreds of millions of dollars in their career. Of course, he's going to be cool with him. And then Big Dom hanging, being the first to speak.
Nah, he's happy like a pig in shit.
You should not be at all surprised by that.
Oh, no,
yeah,
no.
South Philly
I don't think that-
Italian, born
I don't
and
think that
raised.
I don't think that surprised anybody, honestly. I don't think that surprised anybody at all.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. You'd be surprised. Clearly, a lot of people were giving Saquon.
Were there any no-shows that surprised you?
Hurts kind of did.
You thought Hurts might
did not surprise me.
Here's the deal. Hurts, I think I said this before. Hurts' idol is Michael Jordan.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, who famously said Republicans buy sneakers too. So yeah, I'm thinking, Hurts is going to go. And shout out to him. He quote unquote had a scheduling conflict.
Yeah. Again, great PR team that he has. I think that's a great thing to say, especially if you want to avoid any conflict with anything like that. So that was a safe bet. But no one really, I think, jumped out. Like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. Zach Bond kind of surprised me.
That he didn't go?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the one, unless I'm mistaken, I believe the one white player that didn't go was Kenny Pickett.
Oh.
I saw
that.
How
about that? You know?
Shout out to him. Not South Central Jersey's finest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen.
That was kind of funny.
All right.
It was funny. I saw
in Cleveland for 2 months. Already got that dog in him. I like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Will Shipley. Like I was watching some coverage. I saw Will Shipley. I was like, "Who's this little kid standing next to Trump?" It's like, "Oh, damn, that's Will Shipley."
That's funny.
And then I seen Reed Blankenship. He was dressed just like Trump, like navy blue suit, red tie. I'm just like, oh man, yeah, Reed Blankenship. He probably is one of them.
Yeah.
But whatever, man.
Red Blankenship.
Yeah. But now only 32 out of 79 players went. So for anyone that
it looked like a smaller crew
was
back
upset
there.
about them attending, like only about a third of the team, a little more than a third of the team, right? Yeah, 32 out of 79.
It was about like half of the starters.
Yeah, like a little more than a third of the team. Like a lot of fan favorites didn't go. BG, Devontae, AJ Brown. Hurts, obviously. Like, a lot of guys people like didn't go. So,
Carter, Davis, Bond.
Yeah, you don't need to have a conniption just
I don't think Sweat was there.
He's moved on from the team. Yo, shout out to Mekhi Becton, though. He was there. Like, dude, he went from crying when we clinched the division to being at the White House. Like, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with them. The only upset I had about the draft, though, I will say, it just hit me. I really wish we got that guy Desmond Watson. I'm not gonna lie.
Who?
That big ass dude from Florida.
Oh, he was like Jordan Davis size. Yeah. I mean, Cameron Williams is kind of big like that too.
Where'd he go? Tampa Bay. I was pissed about it because he's got Vita Vea in it. That's what I was envisioning. Whether or not they're super productive, but like any kind of 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, and you got Jordan Davis and fucking Desmond Watson up there, you got almost 800 pounds and probably almost 1,000 pounds of men with 2 people. Fuck that.
That's a lot of man.
Come on now.
That's a lot of beef.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess speaking of Jordan Davis, you seen they exercise the 5th-year option?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I was up in the air about it when they were like, should they do it? But I'm into it. I mean, his production doesn't show on the stat line, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So people are like, well, he doesn't do anything, but
he's great.
He does a lot of stuff for other people.
Yeah.
Dude, like I keep saying this, I said this a couple times. He had sacks in the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Right, his last 2 games, he had sacks, and the one Mahomes kind of ran into him. But at the same time, that's just being in the right place at the right time. To your point, he creates a lot of opportunity for other guys. When we drafted him, his thing he was saying was, 2 on me, somebody's free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people have to double team him. That means someone else is free. That means someone else's gap is open. They can run straight up field and either get the TFL or get the sack. So, and also I think the other thing is D tackles, they take a little while to develop, right? Like outside of Jalen Carter or an Aaron Donald type, you usually don't see a D tackle come in and dominate right away. It usually takes some 3 seasons, 4 seasons. Vita Vea, I think, wasn't really that good till like his 4th or 5th year.
Cox did pretty well jumping out the gate.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but, like, we're talking, like, really upper echelon type players, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, there's a handful that you're like, you think about, you're like, okay, those guys did
they
it.
just don't pan out. Or it takes some years to pan out. So, from the Eagles' perspective, it's like, I mean, if we let him, like, if we don't do this, we don't extend the option, he has a killer year, then he's making Milton Williams money, and we definitely can't keep him.
And also, like, you figured that would have been the first Georgia Bulldog to leave or, like, have kind of a reason to get a little grumpy and all that. Like, you've kind of built this team around camaraderie, youthfulness, and, I mean, even Macoup, whatever his name is, the safety from Texas, played with Shipley and Trotter. So, like, they brought a lot of guys back in that were either from the area played with other players. We got a Bulldog in the draft again.
Gotta get one.
Yeah, so like, it makes sense that way. So I'm glad they kept him.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. No, let's see what he does coming off those 2 big games.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he starts the season strong. Should have more opportunity, right? Like, he showed a little pass rushing juice. I mean, Ty Johnson or Robinson. Ty Robinson will probably take some snaps, but for the most part, Jordan Davis has an opportunity to prove himself. So let's see what he can do.
Definitely. Well, speaking of how they start the season off, the Phillies right now. I think, right, we're done with the Birds?
Yeah, we're done with them.
The Phillies...
They won 7-2.
All right.
4 in a row. Okay.
All right.
Well,
take that.
4 in a row. All right, well, a little heater here.
All right, trying to win our faith back.
Yeah. I don't know, where should we start here? We got swept. We got swept by the Mets, which is pretty awful.
Yeah, the Mets look good though.
The Mets, I mean, they're playing like the best team in baseball right now.
Didn't surprise me, and we were in New York.
Yeah.
I really think that if Sanchez doesn't have that weird tightness the first game, it's a different series.
Yeah, kind of threw the game.
But that just fucked
rails.
up the whole thing. I mean, you can't to have a random bullpen game. I'll retract that real quick. I think if this was the Phillies of last year, and I think you brought it up in the beginning about is this team taking a step back or are we kind of like getting on a path forward? If we had the bullpen security that we had last year, that first game would have been a lot different. But the fact that Sanchez goes out and halfway through the third inning, if that, I don't even think he hit 30 pitches, 40 pitches.
Yeah, I think it was the third or fourth
this
inning.
This bullpen is so bad that you can't just have a random bullpen game. You really have to be strategic about, okay, who we put in here, what are we doing, and then it impacts the rest of the series. That fucked us up, I think.
It certainly didn't help, but the offense didn't really put up runs in that series either.
Definitely not.
So, I mean...
But you come out, but then your mojo's screwed, though. This team isn't okay, great, we got a good bullpen this year. We can shut them out or, give up one run and we can put some hits in here.
I don't know, man. You can't let the fact that you have a bullpen game going, let the quality of your at-bats and the quality of your offensive approach suffer.
They were in a rut for sure in that series. I'm not getting that twisted.
I mean... Y'all know how much I have extreme disdain for Michael Barkane. I've talked about that before. Ricky Batalico, Ben Davis is probably, he's mid, but Ricky Batalico, Michael Barkane, Ruben. I don't like any of these guys, but a lot of them have brought up really good points that when this team gets into a rut, whether it be a pitching rut, an offensive rut, it impacts all the players on the team. It shouldn't be that way.
They're all mopey, man. It's a mopey team.
Yeah,
Yep.
So here's the deal, right? Going back to what I said at the end of last season, this team has the swag of a rock, dude. They need a swagged out Latino with some dreads.
Mm-hmm. Still don't really have that guy.
They don't have that at all.
Yeah, a mismatch, like a yellow elbow pad on his red and white pinstripes. Comes up with Bad Bunny as his walk-up music. Just doesn't give a shit. They need that kind of, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of the teams that have that kind of energy. Lindor with the Mets. Mm-hmm. Acuna Jr. when he's healthy with the Braves, right? They don't have that right now.
Even Tatis.
Yeah, he's another one.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis. The Mookie Betts, he's not a swagged out Latino. He's a swagged out black man. But, either way, the team just doesn't have that. And... when they get into a rut, they don't have the energy. They don't have that energy guy that plays every day that can invigorate the crowd and galvanize the team. That's just...
They're all just a bunch of mopey dudes.
They're kind of just a bunch of mentally weak white dudes.
This is true. I mean
I don't know how else to say it.
I argued with you last year. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And who'd they get? A little sauerkraut. That was about it.
He's been playing good, but
I'm not knocking it, but
he doesn't bring the vibes.
He doesn't seem like he's a big motivator in the locker room. He seems like he's going to do his little thing and then kind of peace out or be quiet. He's not like a hype guy. But again, we don't need another boring hype guy like that. Yeah. I'm into what you're saying.
Yeah, we need a Jimmy Rollins, man.
Anything.
Jimmy Rollins wasn't a swagged out Latino. He was cool as hell, I'll tell you that much. I'm they don't. And he was also a leader.
Yeah.
Schwarber is a great leader, but he's not a rah-rah energy guy. He kind of leads by example. They need this
Utley had some quiet swag to him though too. Utley that team was swagged out a little bit. This team was just you got a Mormon playing first. You got Baum who's all crying and fucking mopey all the time. Stott's just quiet. Turner is Turner. Schwarber
Schwarber's a great leader. Because Schwarber and Castellanos are great leaders.
Schwarber's hanging out at beef and beers and fire departments every other weekend. He didn't give a shit about like what the fuck they're doing in the locker room. He didn't care. Like he's literally a suburban white dad. He wants to mow his lawn, hit home runs, and then go to bed. That's what he does, and that's fine. That rocks. Yeah. I'm into it. You know, it's great. I love that part. But we can only have one of those on the team, and we have like 5 of them on the team.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Yeah, that kind of is the team's identity.
Yeah, Cassie brings swag, but like he's also like quiet.
Yeah,
like, he's not. It just we're right there.
And the guy that brings swag is Rojas, who's overrunning fly balls in center.
Like a little fucking newborn giraffe out there running around.
Edmundo brings swag. I like Edmundo, but he doesn't play every day.
Yeah,
you put a lot of weight on his shoulders though to bring the swag.
Right? Exactly. For a guy that plays 2 times a week, it's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they need to find an everyday center fielder that can fill that gap.
I mean, I guess that's Crawford, but that's not happening until middle end of the year at earliest.
Yeah, and I feel like the deadline, their priority is probably going to be to pick up a bullpen.
It has to.
It kind of has to be.
The bullpen's just been horrific.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with these guys. Well, Romano, the obvious. What is homie's ERA right now? Last time I checked, his ERA was like 13.
God.
And that's not after one
He had a couple good appearances there where you were like, oh, maybe he figures something out. He's starting to turn the corner here, and then just went right back to being bad.
There's no rust to be knocked off. He's just ass.
Yeah, he sucks. Kirkering, I talked him up before the season started.
Dude, I had high hopes for him. And like, I still, like, it's...
He has good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to like jump off a bridge with the bullpen right now. I mean, I still believe in a lot of these guys. It's just, it's still a pretty small sample size with these guys. They might be able to turn it around a little bit. I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of the deal with bullpen arms. They're just kind of up and down.
Yeah, they're volatile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but. Yeah, and then some of these other guys, what is this dude's name? Carlos Hernandez, we got from the Royals. Can't find the strike zone to save his life. He actually did pitch a scoreless inning tonight. And then it's just like Tanner Banks, Jose Ruiz, like these unproven guys.
Yeah, Tanner Banks. I feel like every time, I don't know what it is. I swear to God, it's like every time I turn on the game, it's like I feel like Tanner Banks is just always pitching. Yeah. I'm like, he's always there.
I keep getting Romano. I'm like, I'm going to fucking shoot myself in the head. It's just bad. He's just, again, there's no, like, once it gets to that point in the game, you're like, fuck. You could be up 8 runs. You're like, well, they're going to find a way to make this a close game, and we're going to have to squeak this out at the bottom of the 9th or
this
whatever.
This is basically the guy that we, swapped in for Hoffman.
Yeah, who's been dealing.
Yeah. Miss Cousin Jeff.
Yeah, he was the man. And it's just, I don't know. They don't have any. The reinforcement is Ranger comes back, then I guess you move Taijuan Walker to the bullpen, which, I mean, Taijuan Walker is actually, he hasn't been great. But he's been a lot better than he was last year. He's been a perfectly fine number 5 starter.
Yeah, I'll be okay with him going to the bullpen.
I don't know how that stuff plays in the bullpen.
This team's so fucking mopey that he goes to the bullpen. Now he's all probably, I don't know. It's a very emotional team, which is not good.
Yeah, boom. Oh, this guy, dude. Hold on. How does he have no home runs?
That is kind of wild.
And he was in a home run derby. I mean, that was wild anyway to begin with.
Yeah, he's never been in it, to be honest. But, dude, Rojas, this was funny. So last night I was like texting in my group chat, with not the boy chat, another group chat. I'm cheating on the boys, yeah. But
my group chat.
Yeah, with myself. But so I'm saying to someone, I'm like, yo, how does Bohm have no home runs? Watch, Rojas is going to hit a home run before him. Then Rojas' first step out, he gets a home run. And I'm just like, yeah, Bohm should be ashamed of himself right now.
He probably is.
He was our first round pick. He was the 4th overall pick in his draft. And you mean to tell me when he's supposed to be in his prime, when he's 28, he has a goose egg in the home run column in a regular season? Like in the first month of the season? That's horrible. From a power position like third base? Like, yeah, I get it. If you're a catcher, you're a center fielder, second baseman, you may not always be looked at to supply the power. But third base, you expect the guy to hit for power. You expect the guy to hit for a decent average. He just isn't doing any of that.
Nothing. I'm okay. Like, sure, you don't hit home runs right now, okay, but he's not doing any of his doubles that he used to do or any good positional ball.
Yeah, it was like
play.
a double machine last
Yeah,
year.
he just can't do shit right.
He's too slow to leg out.
And he strikes out or pops a fly up and it gets all fucking mopey and sad, and that's not good to come back to the dugout and be all just crying the whole time. Every fucking game just about.
Yeah, it's just like you said, the team feeds off that energy. And I don't know. It's just Aiden Miller, please become the stud we know you're going to be sooner than later. I'm just so over Bohm.
But uptick, though. I mean, Harper's having a sneaky, really good season right now. I think among the mess of everybody else, I think Harper's been doing pretty good.
He's kind of been slumping a little bit the last week or so, but up until that point, you're right. Yeah,
like to start the year healthy, it's good to see him back in kind of a decent mode. Turner, the last couple games, has been on a pretty good streak.
Well, we got to talk about him playing defense that game.
I mean, I'll keep my anti-Turner take for that, obviously, is his defense, which I've mentioned multiple times on here. But yeah, I don't know. The team's just in a weird spot. I think they're just still figuring out, which makes no sense because it's the same roster just about for the last 3 years. So, like, what's there to figure out? Which is, I think, the most frustrating part.
Yeah, I mean, you ran it back with the intention of this team being locked and loaded and ready to go. And, yeah, I mean, clearly the bullpen's a little different, and that's probably the biggest areas of concern. But, I mean, the offense has kind of been met, too. I mean, coming into the night, they were 14th in runs. Dude, 25th in home runs.
Yeah.
How are you 25th in the home runs?
Playing at CDP.
Lineup? Yeah.
Like, come on.
20th in slugging percentage. They're just hitting a bunch of singles.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works when they're timely and you have dudes on second base, third base. Yeah, a single will work. But they're just not working at bats. And I think some of it is the weather. Obviously, the past couple of weeks has been cold, rainy, wet, not conducive to dingers. The past couple of nights it's warmed up. Rojas is hitting 400-foot bombs. Schwarber's one-handed balls to right field over the fence. I think as the weather heats up, we'll see some of the power come back. But some of these guys are just, they're not the hitters they were 3-4 years ago.
Not affecting the Mets, not affecting the Yankees, not affecting, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
I mean, Northeast teams are still slugging that shit out of that ball.
I won't disagree with you there, but, I mean, it's Aaron Judge, it's Pete Alonso.
Yeah, but right? I get that, but, that's the reason why we paid all this money for a guy like Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, even Schwarber, who's still holding it down. I get that.
Schwarber's hitting dingers.
We're in a home run friendly park.
No complaints.
Like, sure, we don't have a fucking 6'8" or whatever he is, Aaron Judge, but like we have guys that have the power capabilities to do that.
Yeah.
In a very hitter friendly park.
Yeah, I mean,
and like I'm over. It's their third. It's not their first year here. They've played in this whole area damn near their whole career, except for maybe Turner because Harper was in DC, came up to like it's just frustrating, honestly, when it comes down to it.
What it is they're just getting old. Like, JT's old. Like, I haven't talked about him too much.
He's not even on the list of like guys I'm concerned about. Because like we knew his bats were going to be quiet.
Cassidy's getting older. Like, the bat speeds, Cassidy can still rake a little bit, but like Turner, I don't know. Turner's not really hitting for pop. He's hitting for a high average, which is good. Some of that's probably by design. They probably told him they wanted to hit him for more of a higher
I'm okay
average.
with that. All he needs to do is get on base. I'm cool with Trey Turner just doing some little blue bins all day.
Like, overall, like those stats I just read, they're just not hitting for power. And the weather fixes some of that. And they ain't going to fix all of it. I don't know what they do.
You know what balls do cut through window and rain? Juicing. I'm telling you, we're right there.
Bring it back. Bring back the roids.
Yeah. I'm still on that train.
Bring back the juice.
Wasn't there the one season the balls were juiced? The balls were like lighter or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Phillies got to find a way to cheat and make it so that only they have the lighter balls.
This is also just kind of like the Phillies' MO, though. We'll say, like, they always start the season off in a frustrating way, right? Where, like, you get glimmers of, oh, my God, they put up, 10 runs and the pitching was great. And then you lose to, like, the fucking Marlins 2 out of 3. You're like, well, what? This is just kind of what they do. Once you hit about, like, May, June, like you said, it warms up. People start to get more relaxed. And you hopefully see some...
I mean, it's, it's a long season. And I feel like there's... Yeah, I mean, last year they started off really hot and then kind of limped into the playoffs and unsurprisingly got beat out. So they can kind of do the opposite this year. Maybe they're starting slow and they'll get better second half. we'll see.
They got to fix some of these goddamn holes, though. Like, you can't have the bullpen. The bullpen is 29th in the league in ERA.
Yikes.
Like, you can't have that and expect to, like, magically fix it and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we talked about this before, but the NL is good. There's 4 teams in the NL West over 500. The Mets are already 4.5 games up. The Cubs are good in the Central. The Cardinals have been playing better. The Brewers are solid. I mean, in theory, you could come back. Like, you could play kind of just ass until, like, July and turn it around. But as many good teams there in the NL, I don't want to take those chances.
You're not going to be guaranteed one of those wild card spots. That could be a real challenge.
Yeah, I'd rather figure it out now. And, like, even if you do get a wild card spot, like, you have to play, like, a wild card game to make it to the LDS.
Yeah.
Like a wild card series, I should say. The 3-game series, I mean, like Pat said, you lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins in a 3-game series. Like, you don't end up in that position. So, now they need to figure it out. I mean, the good news is we're sitting here complaining about them. They're 17-13. Yeah. They're still 4 games over 500.
Yep.
If that series with the Mets goes even a little differently, we probably feel a whole lot different. They beat the Cubs. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. They're the best, or one of the best offenses in the National League.
And they hadn't lost at home yet all year until they played them. So, I mean, there's glimmers of hope for sure, but that's, to your point too, Trevor, like, it's such a long season that every week could be a different kind of flavor, honestly, right? Like, we come back in a week and they're on a fucking 10-game, whatever, how many games they've won, like, or they could lose the next 5, and you're like, well, yeah, this team does fucking suck. But, it's a combination of a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things going wrong that we need to fix on the Phillies side, and there's a lot of things going well for a lot of other teams in the NL that we're just kind of watching from the outside. But, any given week, the Mets could take a slump. Anybody else could take a slump that's in the top, and we could just be consistent and roll through there. But I don't think it's time to panic.
No, not at all.
But we're definitely, coming across that concerned era in just terms of bullpen. I'm not worried about the offense. They've been putting up good runs the last couple games, so I'm okay with that. But the pitching, I mean, like, the score did not.
The other thing too is I feel like they do need to start slugging more. That's definitely a problem. But I mean, during that I don't know, was it a 5-game losing streak or whatever, that really bad stretch they had, they were just leaving so many people on base, and it was just like, at some point that's got to kind of have some positive regression there. Yeah. Like, if you're getting all these people on base, law of averages say, like, at some point you're going to start getting the hits at the right time and start turning these into runs, which I think we've been seeing a little bit of the past few days. But yeah, you also, that's a lot easier to do if you're getting extra base hits. Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're getting guys on second and third, then it just takes one single. You don't have to string a bunch of singles together and hope for someone to score, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not here yet, but here's, like, when they were in the midst of that 5-game losing streak, I started to get some Sixers vibes from this team. Here's why, right? It's explainable. Because, the Sixers, how many years did they let us down in the playoffs before this year? This year, they didn't even get us to the playoffs, which was actually kind of nice, right? Yeah. Yeah. And how many years did the Phillies let us down? The losing in the World Series wasn't really a letdown, but that past couple years, the way that they lost, you could argue that those were similar to the Sixers losing to the Celtics, right? Like, when the Sixers came back home 3-2 in that Celtics series, that's coming back home 3-2 and losing those 2 games to the Diamondbacks in embarrassing fashion. You know what I mean? And then last year, the Sixers lose to the Knicks. Well, same exact. The Phillies lose to the Mets. So I'm not there yet, because the Phillies seem to have they don't have as much of a history of letting us down. But if you squint really or not even that hard, if you squint a little bit when it's dark, you can see some similarities. Yeah. Right? Like, high paid best player. Trey isn't the highest paid, but he's up there. Kind of underachieves the same way that Embiid does. Team that's let you down perpetually, that hasn't won anything in quite some time. Again, we're not in panic mode. No, I'm not trying to get this sound like a little bit like, you know what I mean? No, here's the deal. Like I said, I'm not there yet, but I get what you're saying. Like, this is when during that 5-game losing streak, this is one of the dark places I went to. All right, let's get you out of the darkness real quick. I get what you're saying. I think that
That's a potential, right? I get it.
Yeah, they've won 4
I'm
in a
not
row.
ready to get the hole in the wormhole of,
If they go on another 5-game losing streak, I'll be back in the dark place. But for now, they've won 4 in a row. We're all right. But yeah, don't be surprised if mid-July they've lost 5 games in a row. I'm sitting here on the pod comparing them to the Sixers again.
Well, Bucks are out. The Phillies' new head coach wants to get rid of Topper, Doc Rivers.
Oh, God. Could you imagine? Oh. Yeah, that is hilarious that Doc, he's out again. Dude, Giannis is out.
Yeah.
Giannis is out.
They say he might never be a Buck again.
Yeah, he definitely out.
Because Dame tore his Achilles, he ain't going to be back at all next year.
Nope.
Giannis is going to ask to get traded.
To who? The Sixers.
Dude, I would trade Paul George. And
Embiid, package them up.
You wouldn't need to trade them both.
I would do it anyway.
I mean, I don't think the Bucks were taking that deal, to be honest. But yeah, you would have to trade Paul George, probably some picks, and probably McCain to get Giannis. Then you'd have Giannis, Embiid, Maxey. You bring back Grimes.
Flag.
Maybe you get the number 1 pick.
Yeah. Got a little stew going.
That would be wild.
Shaq. Nah, okay.
That'd be crazy. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there, but Giannis is out.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, I don't really have any NBA stuff to talk about, really. We talked about that already.
But speaking of drafts, I guess we go to, or pivot to the Flyers,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Not a whole lot of draft
Some
stuff.
stuff happened. I mean, Monday is the
Cleaned house, I
the
guess.
draft.
All the old heads.
Yeah, Monday's the lottery. We'll see.
Yeah, do a tankathon real quick.
Yeah. Let's
Let's see
fire
what
it
we
up.
get.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't realize it was so soon. I don't think
know.
the NHL had announced it.
Next Thursday?
Yeah, I think
on
they
Monday.
just
Monday.
they just announced it a couple
Cinco de
days
Mayo?
ago.
Is that Monday?
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah, it's the 5th. Yeah, that's
Damn,
true.
look at hockey.
Damn, we could be
Hockey getting
drinking
cultural.
drinking some margs.
I'm trying to drink some
the
micheladas.
NHL draft lottery. All right, let's do it. Here we go.
Drum roll, please.
And this says the Flyers staying at 4.
Man.
That's fine.
I mean, that
Get a
would
good player at 4.
as long as we don't move back. That's always annoying. But yeah, this would have Chicago getting the number 1 pick.
No, well,
again.
that's not cool.
Yeah, I'm tired of them.
Who got the number 2?
San Jose.
Well, they still kind of suck. They need it. Who got
Yeah.
number 3?
Nashville.
They were surprisingly ass this year. I didn't think they were going to be great, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad.
Yeah.
But hey, I could live with number 4. But anyway, Danny Briere is talking about adding. He says they're done subtracting. Thinks they have their core.
Sense.
It's time to add.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like next offseason will be the time where they really can make some moves because they'll have like some money coming off the books. But yeah, it'll be an interesting draft. I did see, I've been following the Avalanche and Oilers series pretty closely. Oilers looks like they're probably going to make it through. It looked like the Kings were putting up a good fight for a minute there and looked like they might do it, but then the tables turned and like the past couple of games the Oilers have just been dominating and now they're up 3-2.
2 very elite Hall of Fame.
Yeah, at this point,
players.
I mean the Kings are going to have to win a game in Edmonton and then go back. So, not sure. Don't know if that's going to happen. But the Avalanche are 1 game away from elimination against the Stars.
The Stars are banged up.
Yeah, the Stars are missing Heiskanen.
Who wasn't the dude Thomas was out too?
Yeah, they have like one other person out. Yeah, so they are banged up. They still look great. Like I think like if the bracket had fallen a different way, that could have been like the Western Conference Final. It looks like those are like arguably the best 2 teams in the West that unfortunately are playing each other in the first round. But yeah, the Stars look really good, and Avalanche look a little bit out of sorts. So hopefully they get knocked out. We get a little better first round pick there. But
I guess it would fall where? Probably it depends on sequencing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how
but
they determine that with the play of the teams that get eliminated in the first round, like how the draft order shakes out there. Is
it regular season points percentage?
Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know.
I almost feel like it should be the order in which they got eliminated, but that's not really fair. Schedule the way the schedule falls. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I guess see how that shakes out, and of course they have a coaching vacancy to fill.
Yeah. Who do you want?
I don't know. I honestly don't know who I want because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the best option is probably someone that I don't know of, or like, I mean, like the David Carl thing. That's not happening. Like he turned down. I think the Blackhawks made a pretty big push for him, and he's not interested. Like I think he's happy with what he's doing. I don't think that he's going anywhere. And I guess the biggest. I don't know, the most like prominent name out there right now is Mike Sullivan, who got canned by the Penguins after a long time.
He's a Torts boy, though.
Right? Yeah,
him and Torts are boys.
I mean, whatever.
I guess
the guy's won multiple cups. I don't really care.
I guess Torts and Bradshaw are boys too.
Yeah,
like Bradshaw's kind of who I want, dude. I don't know if that's weird.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy.
Like I feel like the players, during exit interviews with the players, a lot of them spoke very highly of him. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, we saw the development that happened with a lot of the defensemen under him. I mean, I think he could develop a few more of these offensive guys, too, if you give him an opportunity to.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't hate it, even. And it's, it's not like where they are right now that they, like, really need like the perfect coach because they're still like, they're still in that building phase. They're still putting the team together. So I wouldn't mind if they just took a year to say like, let's see if this guy can actually do it for a year. I wouldn't hate that.
Now's your time to shine then. Trevor, get in there. Throw your hat in the ring.
Yeah. I'll send mail an application, my resume to the Wells Fargo Center.
But to your point, like Mike Sullivan, he would be good for the next coach, even though he probably won't still be a free agent.
I mean, I feel like for him, the Rangers job is probably a lot more attractive because they're kind of set up to win now. Also, he might not. I mean, he could like take a year off if he wanted to because he's still getting money. So, but I mean, I think probably the favorite at this point is former Flyer Rick Tocchet, who declined his. I guess he had like an option with Vancouver. They declined and wanted to offer him a new deal, but then he decided not to. So,
I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be excited about it, but I don't think I would hate it either.
It would be a very Flyers thing to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing like that I struggle with because it's on the one hand. It is like a very Flyers thing, the whole like, hiring the former player guy or whatever. And, on the one hand, like, it's definitely not necessarily like a good thing to do it, but it's also like not necessarily a bad thing either.
He's a fine hockey coach.
But it's just hard to, evaluate because he's coached a lot of bad teams. But does have like a lot of respect around the league. Like he's thought of very highly around the league and by a lot of talented players. Like I mean, even when he was an assistant at Pittsburgh, like Sidney Crosby had really great things to say about him for what that's worth. And a lot of other like really like high end players that he coached have really liked him. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I feel like there's like part of the fan base that are just so reflexively like repulsed by the idea of hiring another like former Flyer or whatever that they're just like do not want him at all. And I'm not there. Like it really wouldn't bother me that much. It just wouldn't necessarily be like an intriguing thing.
He's not my first choice.
Yeah.
Like I honestly think Bradshaw is my first choice. I don't know, just because where they're at in the rebuild and kind of what they need right now that I think he could provide, I think he'd be ideal. What's Quenneville doing? Is he
he's still
reeling from this
there.
Hockey Canada stuff that he was complicit in, I guess, is probably the best way of putting it. He was aware of it.
Yeah. Not the Hockey Canada thing, but the
Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember when he first before he had signed with the Panthers, I remember like really wanting him, and then it was like, oh, I guess maybe not. Maybe not. So yeah, I don't know. That would be an interesting like wild card. out there. I don't know what he's up to these days.
Yeah, I remember before we hired Torts, I really wanted him for the coach.
Yeah.
But then all that stuff happened. And yeah, also, I don't know if he's the right coach for this team right now either. Like, he's more of when they're probably a little more prepared to win. It'd still be cool, though. I mean, I don't know. He is the wild card. Like, he's probably not their first, second, or third choice either. He's just a name that just popped in my head the other day.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's hard to just gauge out how it's going to work out just because Danny Briere has not hired a coach yet, and I don't know how he thinks about these things. Like, if it was still Chuck Fletcher, it'd be like they're already drawing up the paperwork for Rick Tocchet. Like, that's happening 1,000%. I'd like bet my life savings on that happening. But I don't know. It's like, is Danny Briere gonna try to go a little outside the box, like look to like college coaches or assistants or something like that? Like, I don't know. Or is he just gonna try to play it a little safer, go with someone like Tocchet, or just elevate Bradshaw and make him the permanent coach for at least a year,
or an AHL guy?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess we'll see what they end up doing, but
yeah, it'll probably be at least a little while before. Yeah, I feel like these like coach hires don't really happen until at least May.
Yeah, I'd rather them not rush into it.
Like, yeah, it certainly doesn't. I mean, I feel like they want to, focus on the draft first and foremost, and then kind of figure out the other shit.
Yeah, I feel like you want to have your coach by the time the draft hits, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not until the end of June, right? Middle of June, end of June?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they got time. So, we'll see. I do think that when it comes to adding players, they got to find a goddamn goalie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the big glaring need right now.
Especially if, like, you're going to try to push it forward a little bit this year. Like, it's great to continue to tank and, like, be in the bottom five. Like, in the standings, get a top 5 pick, but, I mean, let's push it forward. Like, if they even had halfway decent goalies this year, like goaltending, I mean, good thing that they didn't, because it allowed them to get chances for a lower pick, but this team's probably on the brink of playoffs again.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if they had, like league average goaltending, they'd be at least in that bubble,
Yeah, instead of the worst in the league.
Yeah.
Kolosov, you little bitch. But, anyway, yeah, I was looking through the free agent goalies. It's not particularly good crowd.
Yeah, I mean,
Cal Peterson's one of them.
Yeah,
he was like one of the top options, actually.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, it's like probably like the best you're looking at is like some other team's backup or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They need a bridge to Zavragin and Bjornsson and
Igor
and Connor. Anyway, I think that's all I got on the Flyers.
Yeah. We'll be once that draft lottery happens, it'll be a little more exciting to see where they're picking.
Yeah, once we know where they're picking, can start scouting out
probably
some of these
project
guys.
who they're gonna pick. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we got to talk about this thing that just blew the internet up, blew Twitter up.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, you ready for this? So I'm pretty sure, like, if you're listening to this, you probably know what we're about to talk about. But this tweet went viral. When was this? Where's this
Monday
tweet?
or so. I think it was started off the week
5
that way.
days.
Yeah.
So this dude on Twitter, this was like Twitter 10 years ago. This was funny. Like, you don't see, Twitter's usually just a dark, bad place full of just terrible advertisements and just a bunch of nonsense. Like, you don't see funny stuff like this on Twitter anymore. But this dude, Dream Chase and Mike, at Dream Chase and Mike, I think 100, he used the M-word, I won't say it, could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated to that shit. So 100 dudes could beat one gorilla. Where y'all at with it?
I mean, because the thing is, you're not talking about just like the combined strength of 100 men.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like there can only be so many guys on the gorilla at once. You can't just like, how many?
Maybe 10.
You're talking about like 10 at a time,
10
maybe.
max around a gorilla?
How big is a gorilla?
Fucking.
I mean,
hold on
big.
now. I'll look it up with you guys. Hold on. Are we talking like silverback right now?
Yeah, silverback,
right.
Adult silverback gorilla.
And I feel like, just kind of flailing at it and stuff is not really going to do any good. You would need to have like a coordinated effort to have like 5 guys on one arm, 5 guys on the other, and try to like pin it down, and just have a few other people just kind of on top, just bashing the head in. Which I would never do to a gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, this is kind of cruel and inhumane, but...
Yeah, but, for the sake of science, we'll at least interrogate the question.
I mean, all right, so an adult male silverback gorilla...
You got the gorilla's combine stats?
Yeah, the tail of the tape.
So I got the height on all fours and the height when he's on his 2 little legs.
All right,
because the back legs are short, but they're all power.
They're stocky.
So when he's on his all fours, right... Typically about 4'11" to 5'11". So you're talking like
5'11". That's as tall as me.
On all fours, though.
What?
He's looking at you eye to eye.
Oh God!
But then when they stand up, they're typically around 6 foot. Now the key factor here is though that they weigh around 3 to 430 pounds.
Yeah, that's a big old guy.
And that's just all muscle right there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of fat.
Some of them can reach with their arm span. This is what's going to get all the dudes here, all the 100 guys. Guess their fucking their arm span, 7 to 8 feet reach.
An 8-foot wingspan?
They're big. Their front arms
they have long arms.
Big.
Their front arms are big. That's why it's only 5 foot to 6 foot, but their arms are like...
Jesus.
And they're the size of probably you.
Be good cornerbacks.
I mean, their forearms are massive.
Yeah, their forearms are the size of my torso. Jesus.
And they got, and that's not even talking about like PSI on their grip and shit, and
or
strength,
like their bite strength,
their jaw. Also, it's an intimidating thing to see. They start banging their chest and all getting all like that crazy little drum noise they make. But 100 guys, you figure 10. The thing is,
how fast can they run? That's a question.
What, you're just gonna run?
Well, I mean, I think you gotta like wear it out.
Yeah, you'd have to tire it out.
It's definitely gonna. I mean, you're talking about 100 guys. It'd have to be kind of like a war of attrition kind of thing. A lot of the guys are gonna die.
This is assuming we're fighting a male gorilla as well.
Yeah, you're not beating up on a woman gorilla.
Nah, she'd be beating on it up. I mean, first off, we're not beating up on the male gorilla. That's, their skin's like leather kind of.
They do have really dense skin. I was looking that up.
Yeah, so you can't, you wouldn't be able to like scratch them.
God damn, we'd be fucked. They could reach 23 to 25 miles an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, if that's their sprint speed, you could wear it. Like, here's what you do. You take a coordinated effort. You have 5 of your fastest guys, like, throw something at it from a distance and start running from it.
This is assuming we could use other things. I think it's just saying
so take off a shoe and throw it at
sheer
them. I don't
manpower.
care.
No, we gotta all be butt ass naked.
Yeah, it's all naked. Like the ancient Greco-Roman wrestlers.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, I don't care. Find something to throw at it. Like, do something to anger it so that you're at a distance and it starts chasing you.
Well, that's the thing, though, too. Are we in a simulated arena where there's nothing available?
Man, I think
or is it like, are we in like a...
Is it like that last stage of Super Smash Brothers where it's just the
I think it should just be your just...
Or is it like Hyrule Castle?
Are we on... Is he home? Are we in the jungle? Because then we're all fucked.
No, I guess he should get home.
Or are we in a meadow?
He should get home field advantage if it's 100 against 1.
Yeah.
Dude, if it's in an octagon...
You can't fit 100 people in the octagon.
Yeah. Yeah, it would need to be a spot.
It's a big octagon.
So, yeah, that's what you do. It's got to be a place big enough to fit 100 dudes. Oops. That's my keys. Anyway. It's got to be a place...
The Italian Market Fest by that greasy-ass pole.
Well, the problem is no one's running there. Everyone's just packed like sardines. It's game over.
I think what you got to do is probably split up the 50 weakest people first and let the gorilla get tired killing them people. And then you save the strong guys for the end.
You definitely need a few sacrificial lambs. Like, a few people are going to die.
A few as in, I'm telling you, like, probably 40 to 50
So what
people.
you need to do is when you pick these 100 dudes, you got to pick a few that just are willing to die for the cause. Like he said, you got to be dedicated to this shit. Like, you got to pick a few people that are so dedicated that they're like, hey, I'll be a part of the crew of 100 dudes that took down a gorilla. I don't care if I live or die. Let's go.
I'd be dead. I'd be one of the first ones. I'd be one of the first ones at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't think I'd last very long.
All right, you get in there, tire him out a little bit.
See, you could probably run from it. You run fast.
25 miles an hour? Fuck that. I'd be tripping people.
All right, fair enough.
No.
Nah, I think.
And terrified and naked and shit not my pants, but just shitting everywhere? Mm-mm.
Fair enough. I think.
Well, that's the other thing, too, you think about, because, I mean, this is a thing that monkeys do a lot, and, we don't have don't have weapons or any external objects or whatever, but what you could do is at least shit in your hands and throw your shit at the gorilla.
If you can poop on command, though.
If you could, well, no, dude. Actually, here's what you do. You gotta like poop on your hand. Get like some poop on your hands, and then if you can get it and just kind of, if you can maneuver and like kind of smear it into its eyes.
Oh, I didn't consider that.
Okay.
You're going to have to get real close to that thing when it's not looking to do that.
Gonna have to just everyone eats Taco Bell before.
I mean, they can,
but then that might
back.
be too liquidy.
You got an 7-foot wingspan, so you got to sneak through the extreme reach.
That's why you need a few guys to just act as just.
Well, you can do projectiles.
Lambs.
Yeah, throw it.
Take one for the team.
Take your life for the team.
Oh man, I think 100 guys could, even with no coordination, 100 grown men could probably kill a gorilla with their bare hands, because the sheer stamina it would take for one gorilla to kill, or just like,
Yeah, I mean, eventually the gorilla would get tired.
Would have to.
Yeah.
So like,
because it would just be like ripping people's arms off and stuff, which like it can do, but that's got to take a decent amount of exertion.
Yeah, to do that like 50 times. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually you get tired. It's like,
And they're mostly pretty docile animals. Like they don't really fight violent, like that. They only fight when they're territorial. They don't really like. They're not in the gym. They're not like training for this shit.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. So here's the deal, right? This is where the conclusion I came to. 100 of us, no chance.
Yeah.
100 NFL offensive linemen, that gorilla's going down, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine
100 Jordan Mailatas?
Right, you said it like, how tall is it on two legs?
6 foot.
So Jordan Mailata's 6'8". The gorilla's what, 300 or 400 pounds? Mm-hmm. He's 360.
But it's all muscle, though. These like
he's pretty muscular. He's probably like an 8% body fat, Jordan Mailata.
Yeah, but
he, like
100 of him could definitely take out a gorilla.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have him.
Yeah, if you had like
Lane Johnson.
You had guys with that much weight, you could just like pile yourself on top of it and just basically just suffocate it.
Right.
And your fellow man. But I think what he's saying in the tweet, though, if I'm not mistaken, is just like 100 generic people.
I mean, he doesn't really specify, but yeah, assuming it's 100 generic people.
He didn't say 100 husky.
Yeah, he didn't say 100 offensive linemen.
Well, he said a bad word. That.
Yeah. He didn't say 100 offensive linemen.
He said, I mean, what he said was, no, I'm kidding. But I think that, like you said about the Phillies, there's a certain, echelon of swag that the team needs. We couldn't just be getting, again, just, a bunch of regular people. Like,
you would need a few, like,
you need a couple dogs
dudes.
up in there. Yeah. You need a couple big-ass men in there to help take down this 400-pound fucking wild-ass gorilla.
Like, you do 90 normal people and 10 offensive linemen.
Save them for the end.
Yeah.
I will risk my life to let Jordan Mailata cook.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like if you let the the gorilla get all tired out on all the grunts, and then then you send in the big boys.
Yeah.
To just sit on top of it.
It's like playing chess. You send in the pawns, they get cut off. Then you send in the rooks, the bishops.
Yeah, but then you got to also have like guys that have the mental capacity to see their fellow man just be ripped to shreds and be like, all right, I'm going in next. That's going to be a gruesome scene.
Yeah, you need some militant dudes.
Those first 10 guys are getting...
Offensive linemen can be pretty militant now.
Those first 10 guys are getting...
Yeah, they're getting
mauled.
their bodies ripped in half.
Yeah.
Bodies used their corpses used to beat the other 9-10 guys. Yeah, but...
I don't know if they do that shit, though. This isn't Mighty Joe Young. It's not like, King Kong up in here. It's still a normal animal.
Maybe they don't use the corpse as a weapon. A rabid gorilla might, but that's a different story.
Maybe a horny gorilla.
A rabid gorilla? Ugh.
A horned up gorilla?
A horned up gorilla, like, you just let it penetrate you and then it's distracted. That's that.
That's true. Yeah, you need one.
You need someone to really distract it. And then
you need one really sexy guy.
Pedro Pascal. He's probably fast, too.
Yeah.
He wasn't fast enough to dodge Abby's gunshot, but
he just didn't know what was coming real quick.
It's like spoilers. Yeah. Oops. No. It's like everyone's probably seen that episode.
I didn't see last week's though, so don't say anything yet. Or this Sunday.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
I didn't think so. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the gorillas, I've always liked gorillas, though, I will say. They're majestic.
Yeah, I have appreciation for most primates.
Mm-hmm.
All primates.
There's that one that could do sign language.
Who?
Coco.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Coco the gorilla?
Yeah, you remember, what was my man's name? Harambe?
Harambe.
Yo, shout out to him, yo.
Yeah. Damn. Taken
See, that's
too soon.
That one gorilla would be mad. It would be avenging its people.
See, now...
It'd be like, yeah, you motherfuckers killed my brother Harambe. I'm coming after y'all.
See, you're almost better, though, attacking the gorilla one at a time. Hear me out now.
What the hell are you talking
about? Listen, talk about letting them, we essentially were like, all right, there's going to be pawns in this thing. You go one at a time. Eventually, by the 20th, 30th person he's been beaten up and whatever, he'll be tired. It just depends on what number you drew in mind.
Well, also, like, if you go... do you think that the... okay, so if you were just doing one at a time, do you think that the gorilla would kill and then also try to, like, eat the person?
I think
they're...
Do they eat people?
They don't eat meat.
Are you sure?
I don't think gorillas eat meat like that. But they do have canines. I think it's all defensive.
I don't know. Do gorillas?
I don't think silverbacks eat meat.
What, like, because I mean, you think about it, what if you, like, you send, like, the first 10 guys are just like...
No, they don't. They're herbivores.
Oh, damn. That fucks up my plan.
Oh,
you wanted to get fat and happy.
I was saying, like, you said the first 10 guys, you send the 10 heaviest dudes.
Then send the O-linemen.
Yeah, then the opposite.
Nice.
This is the opposite strategy.
Then I'm a survivor, baby.
You send all the Jordan Mailatas in first. I like, and then it just gets in a meat coma. Mm-hmm. And then it's just
a human
easy pickings from there.
All those preservatives. But
apparently
would kill
they
his
only
ass.
eat vegetables. Yeah. So maybe.
Well, then we send the vegetarians in there first.
Well, they still are meat.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right. We're just brainstorming here.
Yeah.
We need the Jolly Green Giant. We send his ass in.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Him from the cans of vegetables. Yeah. Send him in. The gorilla will be having a field day. Then the other 99 people just wilding out on him.
Again, comes down to commitment.
Yeah, like my man said
dedication.
From the beginning, you got to be dedicated to this shit.
The Phillies need to hear that shit. The 100 men that are fight this gorilla need to hear that shit.
Yeah, right now, 100 Phillies could not do it.
No, man, I'll be crying and shit.
But maybe, if they get their act together, they could do it.
Yeah. I think that's it, man. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review every your podcast. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.